heading down to Hocking Hills to go waterfalling. We got lots of rain yesterday. The waterfalls should be running great. We've got at least 3, maybe 4 waterfalls on the list. So we're going to go out, get some photos, and see how it goes. You can follow along. Okay, we made it down to Hocking Hills. Pretty easy trip. For Hocking Hills, being here for sunrise isn't so important. Trying to beat the crowds is important. So I think we did that. Only a couple other cars here. We are at the main area of the park, which is going to have several of the more popular waterfalls. The plan is to hit those before the crowds build up, and then we'll head out into some lesser traveled trails to get some of the other waterfalls, one of which I scouted out a couple weeks ago, and another I've never seen, or I haven't seen since I was a little kid. So we're going to try to hit both of those. We'll see how the energy goes. I did bring my kid with me, Raven. They're in here. You'll see them on this video. So we're going to get the boots on. It's going to be muddy, so wearing the big muck boots, and we're going to hit, like I said, a couple of the big falls, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, we got the camera bag all packed up. Got our water, got a walking stick, got the kid, Raven, over here. You'll see them several times today. And we're going to go head to the first falls. First falls is Upper Falls. Really here, mainly a photograph this thing. Lost count of how many times. Really is hoping for a high flow, get some slightly different pictures. Then we'll bounce down through the gorge here and see what we can get down at Middle Falls, which will probably be flowing pretty good too, and Lower Falls, and see how that looks. We just saw Lower Falls last week, but I'm expecting even better flow. So here we go. Okay, so as we're hiking in, there's not a lot of people here yet, and I'm going to try to get a picture from up here on this ravine up on the edge, because you can sort of see where the water comes over the top, whereas once we get down into there, you won't be able to see the top of the water very much. So I've never really tried this shot before, so I'm going to just play with it real quick, see what happens. Okay, so we're just sort of set up here high on this trail. It runs over the little gorge here where Upper Falls flows in and it heads on down through the gorge. So I've never really stopped taking a picture here. I got it framed up here in the back of the camera. I like it. It's cool. It's a little different. I feel like I want to frame it maybe with this tree over here just to give it a little bit of context. I don't really have a whole lot going on in the foreground here. So not sure I like that part of it. But so we're just going to play around here for a few minutes and see what I can get, a couple different compositions, and go from there. Okay, so I played around with portrait mode shots and landscape style. Got it set to landscape now. Pretty honed in on the waterfall settings. For those curious, ISO 64. F16, because I was trying to slow my shutter speed down a little bit. Do have a CPL on, which put me at a 1.6 second exposure, which is working pretty well. Did play a little bit of trying to frame this tree in. Not sure I like, but I've got the shot to do. I'm going to take another shot or two here, and then we're going to head on down the trail and down to the base of the falls and see what we see. Okay, so I wandered around a little bit, wandered up over this way and through that side. And one of the problems when I was photographing from over there is the sky is sort of gray right now up in there. And it just didn't make it very interesting, and it was detracting from the falls because the sky's so bright. So I came over to this side where I've got more of these cave walls to sort of act as a background. The green and the hemlock is darker, less sky. So I've sort of set up over here to take this shot from this angle. I've done this shot before, but the flow is a little different. We'll see how it comes out. And I'm probably still looking for one more. I'll probably go I've played in these trees up here. It was my snow day video a little over a year ago. I played up in this way. Because of the trees, there's lots of little ways to frame things, so I'll probably play up there real quick, and then we'll probably call this falls good. We have several we want to hit, and I'm going to spend more time at some of the falls I haven't been to before, because I think it'll take a little longer to figure out compositions over there. So what we did, we're set up here, still ISO 64, I want nice, low ISO, F16, trying to get that blur, and 1.3 second shutter speed, working out pretty good. I had to speed the shutter up just a little bit because I was blowing up my highlights. The zebra blinkies were telling me. So we'll take this shot, we'll move up there, and try to get a framing element and go from there. One thing I did decide to do is toss on a 6-stop ND filter. As you can see, the water here is sort of moving, a little bit of ripples coming in. So I'm just going to see what kind of effect I can get by putting that 6-stop on. We'll keep my shutter open at the moment up until 30 seconds. And to see what kind of look I get in the water. This is where a little experimentation comes into play. It could turn out cool. It may not turn out cool. It's hard to say, but we're just going to try it and see what happens. So again, it's a CPL stacked with an ND filter, 6-stop, and we'll see what we get. So what we're doing here is I've got my camera set down low, and I'm doing a long exposure with the ND filter and trying to get the water in the foreground just to sort of get a cool look to it. I didn't think the falls had enough texture in it, detail in it, so I've actually tried to work my camera settings, bump the ISO up a bit, but get my shutter speed just a touch higher. The hope being I still get sort of a cool look in the pond in front, but get a little bit more texture in the waterfall behind it, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, so we're wrapping up here. I did play a little bit handheld up in these trees, find a composition, but it's starting to get just a little bit busier, people getting in the frame, and I didn't find something I was super happy about to just sort of wade through. So we're going to leave Upper Falls, going to head down the trail and see what we see. I don't think there's quite enough moisture to have some side waterfalls that can sometimes appear, show up. We'll see what Middle Falls looks like. I don't have a lot of pictures of it, and it may be just enough flow to be making it run, so we'll see about that. Then we'll stop at Lower Falls on the way out from here, because by that point in time, I'm going to guess the crowds are going to be starting to get pretty high. So let's go on down through the gorge. So as much as I'd like to go down here and take a look at this little cascade, we've got that sign that says Habitat Restoration Area, do not enter. And following nature first principles, in an area as busy as this, it's important to follow the signage and not go into there. These areas see just thousands and thousands and thousands of people through here during the peak season. And if everyone just ignores those signs, they'll just get all more trampled down and things will get more damaged. So as painful as it is to go past this little spot that has just a perfect little overlook of this little cascades over here, the signage says don't enter, so we're not going to enter and move on. So part of your nature first principles. Okay, so this one's a lot harder for me to find a good composition, mainly because I've shot here so often. The water's running good. I think I'm going to go try way over here in this corner, up over here, and sort of shoot across, see what I can get that way with it. I feel like I've done this one a lot with the leading stream, so I'm not sure I'll hit that today, because we do have those couple other waterfalls I want to hit. But I think I will play over here just for a minute, see if I can get something cool that I like, and yeah, then we'll probably hike out of here up the bazillion steps that anyone's watched this channel for a while has heard me complain about before. So let's get that set up. So just to give you an example how much shutter speed can change A lot of times I'm a half a second, 1 second, sometimes even 2 seconds on shutter speed for waterfalls because of how close I am and how fast that water's coming over. I'm at a quarter second and still getting a pretty nice long exposure on that water as it comes over. So that's why you can't really say when you take pictures of waterfalls, set your shutter speed to 1 second and they're all going to look great because it's a variable. It changes based on how close you are to the water and how fast it's coming over the falls. So I talk all about how to photograph waterfalls in my other videos, which I'll link to up above and down in the description. But yeah, that's what I'm playing with right here. That's what we're working through, is just honing in on how I want that water to look and playing with settings to get that. Okay, we moved here behind this tree log, trying to frame the photo with this log from across top of the falls. Got a couple shots, but I'm gonna do one real quick exposure blend because I got a lot of dark in order to get the water exposed right. So we're gonna do one quick exposure blend, then we're gonna pack up, head back to the car, get some snacks, and then head to the new waterfall. Okay, that wraps it up at Lower Falls. We're getting out of here for the crowd start. Really didn't get too bad. Just a couple spots, a couple groups came through, but they're always fast moving. No one hangs out as long as a landscape photographer does. So it's pretty easy to wait them out most of the time as long as it's not crowded. So with that, we're heading up these steps. Whoa, almost fell. So with that, we're heading up these steps, back up the car. Raven's gonna warm up. They say they're cold, and we'll get some snacks, drink some water, charge the phone. Then we'll head over to the next waterfall, which certainly haven't been to in the past 2 decades. I have a feeling I might have been there a long time ago, but I don't remember it. So yeah, make this hike up these steps. If it doesn't kill me, see you at the next trailhead. Okay, made it back to the car at the main place. Parking lot is getting a little busier, as you can see. Show you on the way out too. So we're gonna head over to trails lesser traveled, check out like I said, new waterfall to me, see what it looks like, see if all the rain we got yesterday makes it flow well, and we'll regroup over there. Okay, so the road was closed that I normally take to get to where we were going, so we sort of dropped back to a parking lot, regrouped, figured out an alternate route. So we're going to see if that way lets us get to where we want to go. So we'll see what happens. Okay, we found a way around the road closed. Don't know why it was closed. The sign was actually blown down. I'm guessing some tree fell across the road and they'll work on getting it cleaned up. But we took a back way in. Thank goodness for offline maps and Gaia. Found a little back narrow twisty way to get here. So we're gonna set up here, pack up our bags, and we're gonna go explore the next waterfall. Now this next waterfall I've never been to. Checked the trail maps last night, so I have a pretty good idea how to get there. Hoping there's been enough water to make it flow. I think it's one of those that does need some water, recent rain and stuff to make it flow. This area got almost an inch, a little over an inch within the past 24 hours. So fingers crossed that it looks good. Let's get loaded up. So we made it down to Big Spring Falls, and there's another photographer here in probably the ideal spot. So I'm just going to work my way up this trail a little bit this side and see what kind of shots I can get through over his head, see what we can get. I've already wandered around a little bit over on this side. Looks like crossing the creek's going to be good. So we'll see what we get, play around. It's pretty cool though. It's really tall. Tall falls. Said first time here. I know I said I might have been here before, but nope. I've never come this part down the trail. I've been over more in the rock climbing, rappelling area than here. So. Okay, so we've been working some of the shots down here. The sun is like right up on the ridge, makes some of the shots a little difficult. So I actually shot a lot with the Tamron 70-300, doing a lot of little detail shots in here. There's another photographer here who sort of moved out of the space. So I'm going to move up into here, play a little bit at the wide angle. With that sun coming right over the ridge, not sure how great the shots will be. Really cool falls though. I'll definitely be back when I time the time of day a little better. Get up there and see what happens. Now I am on to the 14-30 here. So when I move up into the water a little bit more and get those shots. Okay, so we wrapped up there. Definitely a cool falls. I definitely want some more time to explore it. I felt like the sun coming right over the ridge was making it a little bit difficult to shoot, but I got some nice shots, I think, with the 70 to 300, and then finally was able to squeeze up into that water and get some with the wide angle lens. So pretty cool. Definitely well worth visiting. Not too bad of a hike to get to, which is pretty awesome. So I will definitely be taking a look at that one again and working some more compositions and exploring that a little more. But got one more falls. I talked Raven into exploring begrudgingly. They're trying to make deals, but they already agreed to it, so we're going. And we're gonna go head over there. It's not a super long hike and definitely not a very difficult hike. So we're gonna cruise over there and take some pictures, hopefully, and see how it works out. Like I said, I've been to that one, but I haven't explored it a lot from my... Ow! But I haven't explored it a lot from a composition standpoint, so hoping to have a little bit of time to play over there. It's sort of two falls, twin falls in the same cove, so it's sort of interesting. So we're gonna make that hike. Okay, we passed the car and now we're heading to the next set of falls. Last ones for the day. Like I said, seen these falls before, but didn't really get a good picture of them. So we'll see if that changes today. So I was just here 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, and this was not here. So that's a fresh fall, and all the rain last night and wind we got, I'm guessing it just fell last night, quite possibly. But yeah, it fell right across the trail, so we'll just, I guess, climb over like a raven there and make it to the other side. We're just trying to figure out if the wind took these down, the wet soil, or what, but these were not here about a week and a half ago, and there's at least one giant tree, a second one, and it looks like this probably split off from up there. So yeah, crazy. So I made it up to Twin Falls. Last time I was trying to scout out the composition, I thought it was going to be up here on this ridge, and I'm not so sure. Still got some stuff blocking it. Some of this I think I just need to learn to get better at composition in more wilderness areas. A lot of the waterfalls I go to are fairly well-groomed trails, the whole bit, whereas out here it's pretty... there's a trail to it, but it's more of a forest trail, so it's just not near as much traffic. So a lot more debris, a lot more trees, obscuring looks. So I think some of it's I just got to train my head for those more wild compositions a little better. You see it from the guys in Pacific Northwest a lot, and they deal with a lot of wild waterfalls, I would call it. So I think it's going to train my eye to when you're used to just walking up to a waterfall and there's plenty of open space, plenty of easy foreground elements, you sort of get spoiled. Then you start coming in places like this, and I think you have to work a lot more for the composition. Not 100% sure I'll get it today, but now I've learned something else, crossed it off my list, that this ridge may or may not be the great place. So I'm going to scout around a little bit, see what I can come up with. Would like to walk away from here with at least a picture or two. So I'm just going to look around and take my time to think about it a little bit. So I did make my way up a little higher on this ridge, and I'm not seeing the shot right now. There's a lot of tree branches and stuff running through the falls. I'm not finding the shot right now. Not 100% sure where it's at. So I am going to make my way back down this way, try to make my way into the basin, maybe just toss on a super wide angle and see what I can find. So I walk away with at least something. But right up here, like I said, I thought from down below, this would give me some vantage points that I'd be happy with, but not quite getting it. I don't know. It's our last stop. Maybe my head's just getting tired looking for compositions. So yeah, I'm going to make my way down, back down there. We'll work our way into the waterfall pool down here and see what I can find. See you at the bottom. Okay, so I made myself down into the basin of the waterfalls. We got one of the falls over here, one of the falls over here, and got a pretty decent little setup here. High contrast with the sun hitting the water and shade down here in the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bracket this shot. I'm going to do one for the shade, one for the bright water. We'll blend them together, see what I get. Composition's okay. It's only getting one of the falls of the twin falls, but let's try it for now and we'll see what happens. Okay, so bracketed that image. We'll see. Like I said, it's super bright on the camera with the water being super bright and the shade and shadows, and then it's sort of a tough shot, I think, given the light. I mean, just look at it up there, super bright shade. We'll see. We'll blend them together, see what we got. So I think I'm going to work my way down here, move over to this spot, do one super wide angle shot just to see how much of this I can capture, almost so I can just study the composition at home and see what I would do different or not. We got Raven over here. They're about ready to go. Been out, I don't know, 4 hours or so, something like that. So they're getting tired. Understand that. So pack this up, move over there, one crazy wide angle shot. So we moved down here, and not a great composition, but I've got something to take back, sort of study it, figure out what I want to do in the future. I think that wraps it up. How many falls did we do, Raven? 3. But how many waterfalls did we see at the first area? We've seen at least 4 waterfalls that were named and a couple of little smaller ones along the way. So I think we'll wrap it up. We'll head back to the car. Raven's telling me to talk more to the camera. I'm going to kick myself when I edit this, but that's okay. That's what vlogging's all about. So yeah, here we go. Wave, Raven. Did you wave?
Oh, it did a thumbs up.
That's it. We're back at the car. Got our stuff put away. Got to all the waterfalls I wanted to see for the day. We'll get back, put this video together. I'll put some of the images at the end of the video, adding a little commentary and text over top of the image, and we'll see how it goes. So if you liked today's video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see future landscape photography content from me, including tips, tricks, behind the scenes, mini gear reviews, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any landscape photography content from me. And thank you for watching.